Alright guys, another day, another opportunity to make a little bit of a mess in the yard. So we're going to see if we can't knock out some blueberries and get our third row actually in the ground. Here we go guys. Alright guys, so we've got the flags up in order to mark exactly how wide we want this this row. We're doing approximately 2 feet, and I think what we're going to do is like we did on the row with the PowderBlue, and that is just use the backhoe to kind of get that top layer off. Although the row that we did that backhoe on, I'd actually already taken that top layer of sod off, but I think it'll be all right. Currently there's just not a lot of topsoil up here. The soil definitely needs amended. That's why we're going to be doing the pine bark soil conditioner and the peat moss combination tilled in with, or mixed in with, the native soil. That seems to work well as long as you also are going to have that potted plant in its own soil. I would not just lightly amend or just only a small amount amend that soil and put a bare root into it. You could, but honestly you want to make sure that that soil right around it is peat and pine bark soil conditioner. I would say a large majority, at least, I'd say at least probably 70%. That's what you need it to be, at least in my personal opinion, you know, just in that region around it. Now if you've got potted plants and you're amending that soil and you plan to continue to amend, put as much peat and pine bark soil conditioner as you can afford. If you're doing a large area, like what we consider this to be somewhat of a large area, then obviously, you know, you aren't going to be buying as high as peat is now. It's $26 a bag at our local big box store, and honestly that's the cheapest place to buy it. I always, y'all know me, I always go and I will check and see if there's a bag ripped. 90% of the time they will give it to you for half price. You just got to deal with getting it home and it being a little bit of a mess. So that's how I've gotten probably all but maybe 1 or 2 bags of any peat that I've gotten and put here in our place. Again, enough of me talking. Let's get busy trying to get the backhoe over here and get this area cleared out. Alright guys, so we're now going to actually mark where we want to try and stay within. This isn't going to be an exact science. We're going to do our best. I've just got some blue spray paint and just going to mark it just like we do on any of our other beds when we're trying to figure out exactly where we want to go. It's basically what I did with the other when we dug it by hand, and then we'll go from there. It looks like I think we have approximately 10 Climax blueberry bushes. That'll get us about 3/4 of a row, planted about 4 feet apart. Then we kind of evaluate what we want to do on this upper end. I've got some kind of just miscellaneous. Some are unknown. I know 1 of 4 different varieties. Some I only have like 1 of. So I'm thinking about maybe just on this upper end, just planting, you know, just something different. I've also thought about maybe kind of just doing those in their separate row. Kind of thinking through the process, what will be best. Honestly, if it's in a separate row, you kind of know, okay, this variety should be ready about this time, so you can kind of check that, and maybe the variety next to it that's a week or so off in case things are still ripening. So, all right guys, so we got a majority of this painted. It's not completely straight, but hopefully you can kind of see some blue lines. You can't really see that real well on the video, but got blue lines painted all the way down. Alright guys, so now we're going to actually get the backhoe and take that top layer back, preferably just the grass, and going to do it really, really lightly, and then I think we'll come back and try and dig down just enough that the tiller can come back and back up to it. I mentioned in the last video, if you hadn't checked that one out, check this here where we planted this row right here of PowderBlue. That if we had just a regular rear tine tiller just wide enough to be able to go down through here, that would be absolutely perfect. I do have a front tine tiller which would work as well, but it hasn't run in a number of years, and by the time I get all that done, worked out, etc., then I'll be pretty much done with this project and using the rear tiller of my tractor to be able to back up like you saw in the other video. Anyway, so I'm not going to explain that too much in detail, but just thought that if you haven't caught that video, that might be something just to explain why we're doing it the way we're doing it. Again, if you have a rear tine tiller, then honestly you're in a better setup than what we've got currently, or a front tine, either way. Our soil here is absolutely pitiful up on this hilltop. Very little on the topsoil, so that's the main reason that it definitely needs to be amended. Actually, that's the second reason it needs to be amended. Number one reason it needs to be amended is because of the pH of the soil with Blueberries pine bark soil conditioner and peat moss. I say it anytime I buy it at the big box store, and you know, that's why, and that's your success for Blueberries, at least everywhere I've been in our area. I've heard people say, I just stuck them in the ground, they did fine. You're very lucky. I've done that several different places where we've lived. They don't do it unless you've got a very good root ball whenever you're moving it, and your soil is reasonable on pH. It's not super high, etc. Most of the time people are trying to raise pH, at least here in the south with the red clay, because of just grass and anything else that grows. So they're putting lime on it. If you've been anywhere that has had that done, you're going to be fighting a battle trying to get this pH down. Enough talking, guys. Let's get busy actually getting this row done. Alright guys, so we got that up with the backhoe, and it actually works really well, except for the wind. Alright guys, so we got that up with the backhoe, and it actually works really well. It allows us to kind of get deep. It has been raining a good bit here lately, so that's allowed us to get a little bit deeper than kind of just putting that tiller in and only going just a little bit, especially in this red clay. Remember, up here on this upper end of our yard, we just don't have a ton of topsoil. So now what I'm gonna do is actually kind of go back through, see if I can get some of those grass chunks, because some of this stuff is centipede, some of it's just junk grass, and so I'm gonna try and get up some of that and just rake it. And then what I want to do is debating on whether I want to put in the peat and pine bark soil conditioner first, or if I want to till it and then rake that in. I know if I till it in, then it'll definitely get all the way through, but it certainly will go much deeper, which could be good, but honestly blueberries traditionally don't go super deep, so we'll see what we end up doing. Y'all guys continue to follow along as we get another 60-foot row of blueberries planted. This time it's Climax. Alright guys, so we got all of the Climax basically laid out. We're going to put these 4 foot 6 inches apart. We did 4 foot on the last one. These we only have 10, so that'll give me a little bit more spacing, a little bit less plants that I need to find. I think I'll be able to find enough plants to fill that in. I think that's only 3 to 4 more plants on this upper end, so that we've got a full row. On the PowderBlue, I just need 2. Again, just trying to figure that out. On the Tifblue, I've got enough. I just need to separate those out. So just thinking about spacing. So 4.5, 4, and Tifblue were at 2 feet, but they were just suckers, hadn't been in the pot, etc. I honestly think if you can get them in a pot, concentrate, make sure you're getting them good water, that kind of thing. I would do that for a year just to kind of get them established, less shock, just because they're just in peat and pine bark soil conditioner versus in ground. I know a lot of times in ground will help, and honestly that might jump so that these have been more established and less shock for a year. So, you know, in year 3, these might be taken off, those Tifblue versus the PowderBlue and these Climax that were in pots for a year. All right guys, so working through camera battery issues, that never happens. All right, so we've got all those blueberries lined up, and I've got the peat and pine bark soil conditioner spread all the way up until that last plant. I didn't do this upper end just because I didn't want to carry another bag. Ooh, wind. Have one more bag of pine bark soil conditioner if we need it. And now what I'm gonna do is go through and just, I think I'm just gonna mix this with my shovel. I'm not gonna worry about pulling the tiller out. We'll see how this goes because I dug down pretty well all the way down with the backhoe. And then when I rake it back in, it's pretty darn fluffy. So I think that will work, and just turn in this peat and pine bark soil conditioner and then start digging holes. Again, got these every 4.5 feet on this row. We did, let me go back this way. We did 4 feet on those PowderBlue, and we did 2 feet on the Tifblue. 2 feet's way too close, but again, I put those in as suckers, and I thought that they would not make it. So they actually need to be thinned out, and I'm gonna do that probably next year. I'm gonna move a couple, but then I'm gonna thin out probably next year. I'm just gonna leave them. They're not hurting anything where they are, and they're getting well established. So here we go, guys. Hey guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell that's right, like Mike Tyson did in the 1980s. And we look forward to having you guys along each and every week. As for right now, we're uploading every Sunday at about 8 o'clock. So thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching today's video on planting some Climax blueberries. Hope you really enjoyed today's video. You will see 2 videos popping up, one here and then a playlist over here. And you can see more about blueberries on this side and then the latest upload over here. Hopefully these will be beneficial for you as you are having your fruit addition journey on your place. And if you want to, you can subscribe right down here as well, and don't forget to ring that bell. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed week, and look forward to seeing you next week.